I don't care if it rains or freezes, long as I got my plastic Jesus sitting on dashboard of my car. Going 90, it ain't scary, cause I got the Virgin Mary sitting on dashboard of my car.
This is Grundy, Virginia. It's a small town in the heart of Appalachia of around 900 people. Like many central Appalachian towns, Grundy's primary industry is coal. Coal mining, coal burning, and coal transport all make up around 1/3 of the wages that are paid to the workers here. The people of Grundy consider coal to be a staple of their culture and part of their livelihood. Because of this, the people here have been hesitant to accept any climate change policy that might negatively impact coal or fossil fuel.
That's our job, that's our way of life. And I'll be darned if we're gonna let anybody tear down our lives. I don't care who they are.
Like many other coal towns, Grundy is also incredibly prone to flooding. And in the summer of 2022, Appalachia was devastated by floods, killing 43 and destroying hundreds of homes.
A state of emergency is in effect due to devastating flooding in far southwest Virginia.
Yeah, 40 people are unaccounted for and hundreds of homes are damaged in Buchanan County.
This is Yvonne Rife. She's a 65-year-old widow who lost her home and all of her belongings to the floods.
42 years of my life gone,
Yvonne shared with us her experience of the flood that day.
It was starting to get in the yard where it normally doesn't ever get. And I said, to my little dog, Lucy, I said, Lucy, we need to go get some things together and maybe go to the hillside because this ain't looking good. It came at me just like a dam broke. And that's why I didn't have time to get out of the house. People said, why did you wait so long? Well, really I didn't,
Yvonne was able to survive by climbing to the roof of her home, where she was able to hold onto the paneling while her home drifted over half a mile away from where it originally was.
Because I knew I'd lost everything. I mean, everything. And there I am, 65, a widow, and lost everything, and just on Social Security check.
Yvonne is just one of hundreds of people who have been impacted by these floods. Brittany Cline, a 35-year-old school teacher, also lost her home and everything she had.
I lost my home. I lost two vehicles after, no home at that time and no vehicle to ride. It was devastating.
Appalachians are the most vulnerable to changes in climate and have the least ability to address the impact of climate change. So we think of Appalachia as climate zero because this is a source of carbon into the atmosphere, and that source of carbon is having a disproportionately large effect on the risk and vulnerability of Appalachians.
These areas are prone to flooding and mass flooding events from heavy precipitation events and from water rising. So those are ways that we are most detrimentally impacted by the immediate effects of climate change here and now.
Despite Appalachia being especially vulnerable to the effects of climate change, the political leaders who represent them often still fight in support of maintaining the coal industry.
They say, we're coming here to fight for you. We're going to stand up for you. No one's going to walk over you. No one's going to push you aside. No one's going to forget about you.
We are going to put our coal miners back to work.
The outlook of the coal industry has remained a politically charged topic. And in the aftermath of the flood, the people of Appalachia didn't just deal with the destruction. They also dealt with questions of who was to blame. The story being told here is that these people got what they deserved. But the citizens of Grundy believe that they had no other choice but to support coal and contribute to climate change.
That's the only choice they have. That's the only way to make it is the coal industry now.
In our community, that was all we had. There were no other options. Coal miners, loggers, strip mine.
Danny Justus is a retired coal miner who has lived in Grundy his entire life. He's watched the coal industry go from prosperous in the 70s to nearly extinct today.
They've got nothing to look forward to. Our younger generation, when they graduate from school, they've got nowhere to work. They've got no means to move off and start somewhere fresh because there's no resources. And the big coal companies that took all the coal, where we've produced all the coal, they're supposed to put factories back for the young generation, and we have no factories, no nothing. We got one Walmart, and that's it.
While urgent climate action has been necessary, it's clear that it's begun to cripple towns like Grundy in the absence of any other government intervention. 30% of the town's residents live below the poverty line, and the average income in Buchanan County, Virginia is 2/3 of the national average. And while the coal industry pays 1/3 of the town's wages, an additional 40% rely exclusively on government assistance and Social Security payments. Outside of the coal industry, there are very few options for meaningful employment in the area. As the climate crisis and economic situation in the area worsens, some may argue that the people living in central Appalachia brought it upon themselves. But the people here have no resources to leave the area. And while the worsening effects of climate change will be disastrous, these people are powerless to stop it.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is all there, older than the trees, younger